There's honestly a lot of people that can give you a lot more information than I'm gonna turn around than I'm gonna be able to give you, because I'm not like a professional. Like, I'm not over here fasting every day, but I have experienced fasting in a positive way and a negative way. So I want to share that so that nobody does what I did and like hurt yourself. The ego can do that. So you read these things for the first time and you're kind of like, oh my god, like, I am sick. Like, I feel bloated. I feel like gross. I don't feel like I've been taking care of my body. Those could be hard realizations to like come to for the first time. So when that happens, sometimes you just feel like, I need to stop eating. I need to cut everything out. Like, sometimes your body's not ready for that. So I just want to put that out there because you can really hurt yourself. Okay. It's all in preparation. So maybe if you're feeling that way, try having fresh pressed juices. Again, I'm just giving my 2 cents because I have literally starved myself before out of like just feeling like what I was eating around me was so bad that it would be better to not eat anything than to ever eat again. Like, I'm not kidding you. I really convinced myself that. And that was like at the beginning, I don't actually remember the time of the year, around 2016 and 17. I was just coming to all these realizations and it was too much. It's kind of like the crystal skull effect, So please be patient with yourself and realize that everything's in due timing. If you ever see yourself in a position where you're like, oh man, I'm like realizing these things about myself and I'm actually not happy right where I am. I do need to change some things. Then start changing those things, but don't kill yourself over it, Okay, so fresh pressed juices throughout the day, that can really help. Another thing that's really good is starting your morning off with like hot water or hot tea. I personally like mint tea because mint is good for your digestive system. Also, ginger is good for your digestive system. That'd be a great thing while detoxing to boil ginger in a pot and just have some ginger tea, okay? Ginger, the root, is literally shaped like your intestines, like. Okay, let's see. Supplementing dehydrated foods with fresh pressed juices instead. Another thing is a lot of times when we are very dehydrated on like the diet that we're eating, lots of like crackers and lots of whatever it is. A lot of us eat very, very dry food, and we don't even realize we're dehydrated. I would encourage trying to drink water before eating those things. I'm not going to stop you from eating whatever it is, right? Like, I like crackers, I like chips, I like these things too, and when I'm going to eat them, nobody's going to stop me from eating them. But are you hydrated? Do you have enough liquid in your body to be processing? Like, think about what's on a chip. It's like oil, okay? It's like cooked oil and salt. It's like really hard for your body to process. And especially if you're not listening to your internal like water source, you're going to make yourself more and more dehydrated and your body's going to learn to live with it. For example, I used to coach kids soccer, and like you can literally see it in like, so kids show up to soccer practice and their parents give them water, they give them Gatorade, right? Gatorade is not hydrating. You can argue with me if you want. I don't care. But the ratio of salt and sugar compared to the amount of water is just, you're not getting hydrated from that. I'm sorry. And you can see it. These kids would run over the sideline, grab a couple sips of water, and be able to sprint like the rest of the, rest of the game, rest of the practice. And these kids who would run over the sideline and grab their like red Gatorade or something, they'd chug, 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 and they usually get like sick, and they'd also feel like, I don't really want to run anymore. I feel like I need a sub. It's just very interesting how the body reacts to these things, and on top of that learns to adapt and take them as normal, take these things as normal circumstance. So with all that being said, it's kind of like you need to practice what you preach, right? All of these things I have realized through practicing, through coming in and out of practice, right? It's not easy. People think that like once you come to these realizations, like, oh, well then the way I was thinking before was wrong. Great, I'll just go this way. If you can do that, fantastic. I love you. Love you. But for most people, it's really not that way. We get sucked into temptation. This world is tempting. why do we still have a lot of the things that are going on around us still going on around us when we know that shit is fucked up? It's because we're comfortable. It's because we get tempted, you know? And so when these things happen and we're like, oh shit, I'm being tempted and I don't really want it. It's uncomfortable because it's supposed to feel uncomfortable. The uncomfortableness is what is supposed to push you to be better. It's supposed to push you to shift from this timeline that you're currently at to a new timeline. A timeline where you are happy, doing exactly everything that you want. Okay, that's why these uncomfortable things happen. Those uncomfortable moments. A lot of times in the past, we'll eat these shitty things, do these shitty things, whatever, not realize it and keep living in this cycle and not realize why we're not happy. Once we realize these things, right, and we fall back into temptation, like maybe eating too much milk, cheese, whatever, and then you're like, realize, like halfway through eating what you used to eat a long time ago, never question it, and you realize, oh shit, wait, I don't really like this, I don't really like the way it's feeling. Take advantage of that. Stop eating what you're eating. Take advantage of what your body is telling you. Yeah, I'm just like sharing all this because I feel like it. Like, it's just so funny. I was gonna say something. That a lot of times we get that feeling of uncomfortableness and then we feel like, well, fuck, I'm uncomfortable. How do I feel comfortable again? You know, it's like, and then we get ourselves deeper in this hole of what we were trying to climb out of to begin with. I encourage you to make friends with that uncomfortableness because uncomfortableness is growth. And so that uncomfortableness is actually a bit of what I'm going through right now because I indulged and I let myself have cane sugar more than I usually ever let myself have. You can literally see it on my face right here, like getting acne from it, from the cane sugar, because there is toxins in my blood and my blood is purging those toxins. It's detoxifying. So let's see, yesterday, excuse me, I went to the store to get fruits because I was like, dang, bro, I am literally just eating what's in front of me. Like, the holiday season is around and there's junk food around. So instead of being diligent, I've just been eating what is in front of me, what's been offered to me, instead of being like, oh, no, I need to eat what I know is best for me. So now I'm paying for it, you know, like, by not feeling well, by not like looking, I just, you know, I'm paying for it. That's karma. It's like when you know the answer to these things, but then you go against it anyways because you want to indulge. Well, guess what that karma gave me? Some people can indulge as much as I just did and be fine. I was eating lots and lots of fruits before I was eating that cane sugar yesterday and the day before and the day before that. And so now my body is like violently ill. Like it's actually violently ill now. And it's, I'm just being honest. The things people don't talk about that seem to be the most important, that seem to be the most life-changing. And that's why I know that there is like this evil presence in this world, because for so long, these things that are about healing, self-help, we've been driven away from. We have been told it's not important. We've been told it's metaphysical instead of physical. We've been pushed away from healing through the agenda of the media. It makes me understand that what it is the media wants us to look at is actually not what's important. What we should be looking at is what it is that they are not talking about. What is it that these people are talking about? They're talking about COVID and about how you need to like fix that, be healthy. What are they not talking about? Constant exercise, moving your body, making sure that you have enough food and water in your body, proper nutrition, breathing properly. I had a very symbolic thing happen when I was picking my melons from my garden. So I had a melon that was ready. Actually, 2 melons that were ready, but one got eaten. And I just found it very interesting. And the reason was because those were the 2-3 days I was like eating cane sugar and I wasn't really respecting Mother Nature and what it is that Mother Nature had to provide me as far as food. I was just like, I'm eating from the system. And I went outside to go pick my melons, and one of the melons had been cracked open and all the flies were eating it. And it was just like this very symbolic moment, at least for me. I could be interpreting this wrong, right? But everything is just, this is the way I saw it. I was thinking like, dang, that was so interesting that you decided to eat sugar the past couple days, and Mother Nature was kind of like, it seemed like it responded to me as like, yeah, you can do that. But if you're going to do that, the earth is going to enjoy its food, by itself. If you're not going to enjoy it, the earth's going to enjoy it. It's very interesting because that's what fruits and vegetables do. They grow on a vine and then they offer themselves to you. Well, this one didn't. Coincidence? I think not. Very humbling, actually, because I asked for a garden. I asked to be able to survive off of just my food. I'm far from that, but I am getting there, and I'm much further than I was years ago. But I'm going to have to learn these lessons over and over again, that if I promised the earth that I would be grateful and accepting to the things that it wants to give me, then of course it's going to punish me that way if I'm not respecting it, if I'm not grateful for what it is that it's giving me. So today, once again, is going to be filled with lots of fruits and whole foods, water, meditation. It's when I get distracted that I get sick like this, and I realize it's nobody else's fault but mine. Nobody's shoving this shit down my throat, right? It's me who's saying yes to these things, right? So, day 1 out of so many days that I have done this, right? It's never a perfection, it's a progress. Eating fruits again. Back on the good electromagnetic energy that my body needs. And so, like, if you need that as well, it's like, take what I'm saying right now and, like, and join me. Like, let's all eat good fruits today, good stuff that's good for us, And, yeah, it's not going to be easy, because especially when you're meditating, that, like, bad gut biome that's built in your stomach is going to be telling you, like, what. Your stomach will literally, while you're sitting there in silence and stillness, especially if your gut biome is like built on like sugar, meats, cheese, all these things that are very addicting. While you're sitting there in stillness and quiet, your stomach is going to be telling you like, oh, I need this, I need that. You'll get to a point in your meditation, right? Probably not even hungry, but just because you've been sitting there for 30 minutes, hour, who knows, longer, you'd be like, oh man, I'm really craving this thing right now. Notice that thought, because it's so different than when you're actually feeling low, like energy wise, and like you're like craving, like, oh, I need some fruits right now, power me up, versus like, oh, I need a hamburger right now. You're sitting there, you're meditating, you're like, oh, I could really go for a hamburger right now. Notice how that hard thing to do, and you really got to check your ego when doing this, because your ego will tell you like, no, I'm doing that because I'm hungry. Notice how it feels. How does that craving feel, right? Like we talked about, like, you're on day 2 of fasting and you feel like you're gonna keel over and die, and it's because you were eating a sandwich and a Coca-Cola before you started fasting or whatever. Of course you're going to feel like you're going to die. Your gut biome that you've built is like craving sugar now, and it wants the sandwich with whatever meat you had on it. It's going to be craving these things. Notice how urgent that feeling is in comparison to when you like actually need food, like fruits and good electromagnetic energy. The craving feels it feels intense, it feels urgent, it feels like absolutely necessary. So your very, very intelligent, highly designed, evolved human body, it knows that when it doesn't have food on like day 1 or 2, that it can keep going. It knows that it can keep going actually for a while past that. And again, I am not saying to do that. I'm just putting into perspective a feeling, okay, that your body goes through. Whereas, like, if you have parasites, or even if you don't have parasites, but you have a gut biome that has it's geared itself more towards, like, liking sugar and stuff, why would it feel urgent? It's because that gut biome wants to survive. It wants to stay. It's not even supposed to be in there naturally. And so when you eat lots of fresh pressed juices, when you drink lots of fresh pressed juices and have whole foods and stuff, guess what? Those parasites, all that stuff, it can't even survive in that environment, okay? And so this is very much a message to myself as well as other people, because that's how I got myself in this position, was giving into that craving of, I need sugar right now. I was like, my body could, like, I've done it before, right? Like, my body can survive well, really well. I'm making myself laugh because I just, like, I know how much cane sugar I ate the past few days, and it was so unhealthy. It's like, I know my body can survive without sugar, okay? But I gave into those temptations, and that's why this message is for myself too, because I need to rein myself back and calm down. And when I'm having these feelings, realize that, wow, that's a very urgent feeling. That's actually not out of survival. That's out of something in my stomach trying to survive that shouldn't be there to begin with, but that's not out of me trying to survive.